My name is Mark McGuire, and I live just a few blocks from St. Mark's. I've had 3 kids that have gone through St. Mark's. My oldest son, John, is a freshman at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. My middle child, James, is a junior at Cretin, Derham Hall. And my daughter, Claire, is currently a 5th grader here at St. Mark's. Currently, I'm a math teacher at Cretin, Derham Hall. And we moved into the neighborhood well over 20 years ago, before we had children, before we were even thinking about schools. And it was funny, when our first child, John, was ready to start school, we were looking all over the place at schools. And a woman that I worked with at the time, she says, "Well, have you looked at St. Mark's?" And I said, "Well, St. Mark's? Well, it's just, a couple blocks from our house." And I really hadn't even looked at St. Mark's. And she says, "Oh my God, you've got to look at St. Mark's." Well, this woman lived on the other side of St. Paul, and she'd been looking painstakingly at all these schools, and she decided that she wanted to send her children to St. Mark's, even though it was miles from her house. And so when we first looked at St. Mark's, we thought this is just a natural fit for our children. When we first walked in the kindergarten roundup, and we walked into the kindergarten room here, and we had what I called the Jesus house. And I remember asking Ms. Rowski, I said, "How did you score the Jesus house?" I thought, that's the coolest thing. And you can imagine, as a 4, 5, 6-year-old coming into kindergarten and being able to walk into that room and read and write or do whatever. I just think it's amazing. And also, I think that element of spirituality, just that sense that you can bring that element into an education, is so important.
And we always dressed up in the game. And I would wear like a dress, and then one of the boys would wear like a king outfit. It kind of taught us where Jesus lived and how it looked and how small it was, and for us to be thankful that we have a bigger house.
Teaching in a high school and then watching all the kids as they come up through the feeder schools. I mean, we have dozens of schools that feed into Cretin Derham Hall. The kids that come from St. Mark's are extremely well-rounded. They're very well prepared, and they have this sense of the world around them that not a lot of kids have. I mean, they know who they are and what they're doing and how they affect the world around them and how the world around them affects them. They come in very well prepared, academically, socially. You just tell they get it. They have this sense of maturity about them that not a lot of other kids have. And I think in a large part that's due to the education and the experience they had at St. Mark's. I know you're going to probably hear that word a lot, community. But at St. Mark's, it's completely about the community. And the best example I have is when Claire was in kindergarten, she had a teacher assistant that would come in and help. And that teaching assistant now works at the school full time. And whenever she sees Claire, or whenever Claire interacts with her, you can tell there's a real sense of not just student-teacher, but there's a real sense of love, a connection there that Claire has made, not just with that person, but I think with all the teachers. When Claire walks through the building, her kindergarten, her 1st grade, her 2nd, 3rd grade teachers will all acknowledge her and say hi to her, "How are you doing?" And my boys that went through years ago had that same experience. You walk through this building, it's not just the one teacher you're with at that particular period or that year. They're with you all 8 years or 9 years that you're here going to the school. And I think that's just crucial for that sense of community, that sense of security, safety. You're free to learn, you're free to explore, and you're free to just really push the limit as far as what you can do with yourself academically, emotionally, everything. So I think it's just a great place to be.